Hi, everyone. Today I want to tell you a story. I'm Lisa Martinez, and this is about how my mother-in-law's dream vacation became her worst nightmare. Sometimes, the people you think are weak aren't as helpless as they seem. I met David Anderson while working at a coffee shop during my master's degree in business. He was different from the other rich customers, kind and respectful. He never looked down on me. We fell in love, and I thought I had found my happy ending. But I didn't expect his mother, Elanor, to try so hard to break us apart. Elanor Anderson wasn't just rich. She came from old money. She believed that flying commercial was beneath her. From the start, she made it clear she didn't think someone like me, a coffee girl, belonged in her family. She would say things like, "Darling, remember the Rothschild girl? She's back from Paris and still single," even when I was standing right there. But David supported me, and we had a small wedding. Elanor called it embarrassingly simple. For 3 years, I put up with her insults. At every family event, she'd make rude comments about my background. "Lisa dear, is that dress from a department store?" Or, "How nice that you used to serve coffee. It must be great not to work anymore." What she didn't know was that while I worked at the coffee shop and studied, I had also been investing in cryptocurrency. I made a lot of money, enough to be wealthier than the Andersons. But I kept it quiet. David knew, and he supported my choice to stay low-key. The big moment came during the planning of the Andersons' yearly family vacation. Elanor always used the trip to show off her wealth and control. That year, we met at her mansion for the planning dinner. She looked excited as she told us her big news. "This year, I've booked the Royal Pearl Island Resort for 2 weeks," she said proudly. "Private beaches, chefs, helicopter tours. Only the best for us." Everyone seemed impressed. The resort is very exclusive and usually booked years in advance. Then Elanor looked at me with her usual fake smile and added, "Now, about the guest list. Since this is a very high-class trip, we have to keep certain standards." I already knew what was coming. "Lisa, dear," she said sweetly, "I'm sure you understand," Elanor began, "that a vacation like this needs a certain level of class. Maybe it's best if you don't come. These kinds of places can be too much for someone with your background." David spoke up right away. "Mother, if Lisa's not going, then I'm not going either." Eleanor's smile disappeared. "Don't be silly, David. The whole family will be there. Your cousins are flying in from Europe. You can't skip it just because Lisa isn't comfortable in fancy places." David's sister, Charlotte, added, "Mom's right. Lisa looked so awkward at the yacht club last summer. She'd be out of place again." I gently touched David's arm. "It's okay," I said softly. "You should go. Be with your family." Elanor smiled like she had won. But what she didn't know was that I had my own plan. 6 months earlier, I'd overheard Elanor talking about booking Royal Pearl Island. So I made a few calls. The resort had been having money problems, and the owner was looking to sell. Using different companies to keep it secret, I bought not just the resort, but the whole island. I kept the same staff running things, just waiting for this moment. The next morning, while the Andersons boarded their private jet to the Maldives, I made a call. It was time to begin my plan. Elanor had no idea that the perfect vacation she planned would soon teach her a big lesson about judging others. As their plane took off, I sat in my office, watching the resort's security cameras on my laptop. In a few hours, they would land in paradise, only to find out it belonged to the coffee girl they tried to leave behind. Smiling, I picked up my phone and called the resort manager. Phase 2 had begun. That afternoon, the Andersons arrived at Royal Pearl Island Resort. Elanor proudly led the way through the beautiful white sand and toward the luxury villas, already thinking about all the social media posts she'd make to impress her rich friends. "Welcome to Royal Pearl Island," the resort manager, James, said with a slight smile. "We've been expecting you." Elanor smiled back. "Everything looks amazing. I assume the presidential villa is ready for me." James looked at his tablet. "Well, there's been a small change. The owner is staying in the presidential villa." Eleanor's smile faded. "That can't be right. I booked the entire island. There shouldn't be any other guests here." "The owner isn't just a guest, Mrs. Anderson," James said calmly. They own the resort and make the final decisions about who stays where. Who is this owner? Elanor shouted. I demand to speak to them. James nodded politely. Of course. Please follow me to the main pavilion. The owner left special instructions for your arrival. The family followed him to a beautiful open-air pavilion by the sea. A big screen turned on. My face appeared in a video, and I watched through the cameras as Eleanor's mouth dropped open. Hello, Anderson family, I said in the video with a smile. Welcome to my island. Yes, you heard right. I own Royal Pearl Island Resort, along with other luxury properties around the world. Everyone was silent, except for Elanor gasping. David tried to hide a smile. He already knew the truth. While you were busy judging me for being a coffee server and thinking I didn't belong in your world, I was building a business empire. That coffee girl you look down on? She's richer than your whole family. Elanor fell into a chair, her expensive purse slipping to the ground. Charlotte looked sick. Now, about your rooms, I said on the video. Elanor, you'll stay in the economy villa. It's simple, but as you once said, some people need to know their place. The rest of the family can stay in standard rooms. This is crazy, Elanor yelled. I paid for the presidential villa. Your money was refunded, James said smoothly. The owner has made her decision. The video continued. Oh, and Elanor, remember when you said luxury resorts are too much for people with my background? Let's test that. You'll be working as a server at the beach bar during your stay. Think of it as a lesson. Elanor turned red with anger. I won't do it. Do you know who I am? Yes, James said calmly. You're the owner's mother-in-law. And the rules are clear. You can leave if you want, but the next flight isn't for 3 days. What followed was pure chaos. Elanor tried to call for help, no signal. She demanded a helicopter, none available. I had made sure of that. For the next 2 weeks, Elanor served drinks at the beach bar in the same staff uniform she used to mock. Her name tag read, Elanor, trainee. She served her own family, and every time, she had to smile through it. But this story isn't just about revenge. On the last day, I flew to the island. I walked to the beach bar and found Elanor behind the counter, sweaty and tired in the heat. Having fun? I asked, sitting down. She looked at me, more tired than angry now. Why did you do all this? Because you needed to learn that a person's worth isn't based on money or job titles, I said. Everyone who's ever served you, cleaned your room, made your meals, they deserve respect. Tears filled her eyes. I never saw it that way. I know, I said gently. That was the problem. From that day on, Elanor changed. The experience of living like someone she used to look down on opened her eyes. She started a foundation to help service workers get an education. She also started treating everyone with kindness and respect. At family dinners now, Elanor chats with the staff and asks about their lives. Last Christmas, she insisted on serving the food herself. She said it helps her stay humble. The Royal Pearl Resort? I still own it. But now, it offers a special program where wealthy guests experience working in service roles. Elanor helps run it and shares her story as a lesson in humility. As for David and me, we still get coffee at the same shop where we met. Sometimes, Elanor comes too, chatting with the baristas like old friends. She's learned that true character shows in how you treat the people others overlook. Just last week, she gave me a photo album full of pictures from that unforgettable trip. On the last page, she wrote, "Thank you for showing me the best view of life comes from stepping off your high horse." I keep that album in my office at the resort. It reminds me that the most valuable thing in life isn't wealth, it's seeing the value in others. And Elanor? She still works 1 shift a month at the beach bar. She says it keeps her grounded.